Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 17, text 24. Tasmad om iti udharitya yagya dana tapa kriyaha pravartante vidhanoktaha satatam brahmavadinam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performances of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with scriptural regulations begin always with Om to attain the Supreme. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam, Rig Veda 1.22.20. The lotus feet of Vishnu are the supreme devotional platform. The performance of everything on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead assures the perfection of all activity. So here in very simple terms is mentioned, whatever we do, as Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you give away, do it as an offering to me. So whatever charity we are performing, whatever sacrifice we are doing, whatever austerity we are performing, we should do it for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, pleasure of Krishna. Text 25. Tad iti anabhisandhaya phalam yagya tapa kriyaha dana kriyascha vividaha kriyante moksha kankshibhihi. Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement. To be elevated to the spiritual position, one should not act for any material gain. Acts should be performed for the ultimate gain of being transferred to the spiritual kingdom, back to home, back to Godhead. So we can see that before doing any activity, we are always thinking, if I do this, what will I get out of it? Why should I do it? And if I do it, what will I get? So all our activities, we are doing it so that we can get material happiness. We can get some enjoyment. But that kind of happiness, that kind of enjoyment is going to keep us in this material world. We won't be able to get out of the material world because our desires will keep on increasing. If we want to get out of this material world, then we have to relate all our activities, connect all our activities for the pleasure of Krishna. And then when we act in that way, that I'm doing this for the pleasure of Krishna, then this very same activity, instead of keeping us here in the material world, will take us back to Godhead. So it could be anything. It could be eating. It could be, eating. We all have to eat every day, 3 times a day minimum. So then we have bhoga, offer bhoga to Krishna and then eat prasad. And then charity, we like to do charity. We can offer charity to the Krishna consciousness movement and or tell others about Krishna. So in that way, we need to purify our activities, purify our heart. Then by doing that, our attachment to this material world will get reduced. We are not able to understand by this attachment, we are thinking we are enjoying, but actually we are in the position of a camel who's eating the thorns, and the thorns are pricking his tongue. And with that, his tongue is bleeding. And so we are eating the thorns mixed with our own blood. That's what the camel does. And he thinks he's enjoying, that eating this thorn is giving him great enjoyment, but he's not realizing he's actually suffering. So same with us. We are trying to get some kind of a very little satisfaction in this material world. There is satisfaction. It's not that there isn't. If there wasn't, we wouldn't be continuing to do it. There is, but that is so little. And in comparison to get that little satisfaction, we have to do so much endeavor. We have to take on so much, It's not easy. We have to labor so much. just to get little satisfaction. So Krishna's proposal is, anyway you're going to endeavor, you endeavor it to become a devotee, and then you can get eternal happiness. You can get an ocean full of happiness, where you can dive in it. It's like an ocean of nectar, you know, unending happiness. That's what Krishna's proposal is. And of course, he leaves it up to us. It's our independent choice whether we want it or no. Any questions till now or comments? No? Then we can read a bit more. 26 to 27. Sadbhave sadhu bhave cha sad iti etat prayujyate prashaste karmani tatha sat chabda partha yujyate yagye tapasi dane cha sthiti sad iti chochyate karma cheva tad arthiyam sad iti eva bhiddhiyate. The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word Sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat, as are all works of sacrifice, penance, and charity, which, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O son of Pritha. The words prashaste karmani, or prescribed duties, indicate that there are many activities prescribed in the Vedic literature, which are purificatory processes beginning from the time of conception up to the end of one's life. Such purificatory processes are adopted for the ultimate liberation of the living entities. So these are the samskars, the various samskars that a human being is required to do, which in Kali Yuga, I'm not sure how many of us actually do them, but it's supposed to begin right from the conception. Before conceiving a child, we are supposed to do the Garbhdhan samskar, where both the husband and wife, before coming to unite to get a child, they chant the Hare Krishna mantra, they feed the Vaishnavas, they get blessings of the Vaishnavas so that they can invite a devotee soul. And then, of course, then when the child is in the womb at the 7th month, there is some samskar. Then once the child is born, there are different samskars like that. So different samskars are there. The first grain giving ceremony, the first time the child eats grains, the first time the child cuts the hair, the first time the child pierces the ear, you know, the first time the child goes to school. So all these samskars are there. And what was the reason for the samskars is to ultimately understand the goal of human life is not to stay here in this material world, but to leave the material world, to go back home, back to Godhead. In all such activities, it is recommended that one vibrate Om Tat Sat. The words Sadbhave and Sadhu Bhave indicate the transcendental situation. Acting in Krishna consciousness is called Sattva. One who is fully conscious of the activities of Krishna consciousness is called a sadhu. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.25, it is said that the transcendental subject matter becomes clear in the association of the devotees. The words used are satam prasangat. Without good association, one cannot achieve transcendental knowledge. So as we just heard in Srimad Bhagavatam, that we have to hear the knowledge, the spiritual knowledge from a bona fide spiritual master, from a guru who can explain to us these things, from the devotees. So the same point is repeated here, that without the association of the devotees, we cannot get transcendental knowledge. If we are going to hear from Bhagavad Gita, which is being spoken by professional reciters, we are not going to understand what's the truth. When initiating a person or offering the sacred thread, one vibrates the words Om Tat Sat. Similarly, in all kinds of performance of yajna, the object is the supreme Om Tat Sat. The word Tad Arthiyam further means offering service to anything which represents the Supreme, including such service as cooking and helping in the Lord's temple, or any other kind of work for broadcasting the glories of the Lord. These supreme words, Om Tat Sat, are thus used in many ways to perfect all activities and make everything complete. So originally we are supposed to connect everything to the Supreme Lord. Each and every activity of ours is supposed to be connected to Krishna to purify our activities, to purify our hearts, to take away our material desires and have the desire to go back to Godhead. So we can stop here if there are no questions or comments.
That's that you said, because it's been coming the single word also in the previous 3 verses. So yes, like what they're trying to tell with that they are...
Om Tat Sat refers to the Supreme Lord, Krishna. So in the Vedas, Krishna is described by the words Om Tat Sat. So whenever the words Om Tat Sat are mentioned, it means we are referring to Krishna. And of course, in Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya advised us to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which is the most potent. But Om Tat Sat and Krishna are the same. Is that okay? So that's why you can see the devotees whenever they are doing any puja or any worship, deity worship also, anywhere, always it will be accompanied by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, even offering bhoga to the Lord. Everything is accompanied by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Yes. Okay.
That's what we are recommended in this age of Kali to do. In the earlier ages, they would say Om Tat Sat, and now in this age of Kali, we are recommended to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which is the Lord Himself. Om Tat Sat is the Lord Himself. Hare Krishna is the Lord Himself, non-different. Yeah, so we can stop here.
Thank you.
Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much for joining in today. And